Yes, today I bring you a new buzzword around AI topics that is vibe coding. You probably have heard already about it, but what is vibe coding? But more important here, I want you to go with me on a journey to explore why I do think that low code tools like OutSystems are the future of vibe coding. Let's go. So, vibe coding, in a very simple way, is AI generating code. So, instead of you as a developer manually developing the necessary code for your web application, for example, you ask AI to generate, build, and run the code. And there are already tools in the market that help you do this in an effective way. For example, Cursor, or if you use Copilot on the Visual Code IDE, or for example, if you go to OpenAI and you use the most recently Codex capability. So this sounds really cool, right? It's the perfect having AI generating code. Not quite, because currently we are facing limitations when using this type of tools, mostly when we need to go from a prototype to a more enterprise scalable application. And let's see why. If you already tried vibe coding or saw or read someone on the internet doing so, you always get the same limitation. That is hard for AI to go from a simple prototype into a scalable product. And this happens mostly because AI was trained to generate line of code by line of code or even smaller pieces of that code. So that is really hard because it's like if someone would ask you to assemble a desk, but you would have to start from the beginning. You would have to go to the forest, you would have to cut down a tree, you would have to cut all the chunks, all the pieces, work the woods, and in the end assemble the desk. And if you are a developer, or if you know how IT projects run, you know that most of the times teams do not start coding from scratch. They already have pieces of libraries, pieces from previous projects that they can assemble and they can connect to accelerate the project. Because I can say for sure that if every project that we develop, if we would need to start coding from scratch, it would have been impossible also for us to scale into bigger products. Has IKEA mastered the way of assembling desks in a more effective way? Low-code platforms like OutSystems also did the same thing with code. But what is low-code? Low-code is an approach that allows developers to build applications faster in a more agile way without minimum use of code. And with tools like OutSystems, the one that I'm more comfortable with, what happens is that under the hood, the platform generates the code that we developers configure by using drag and drop features. So in case of building screens, we drag the elements to the screens that we want to build. In case of logic, we use processes and actions to specify what we want a certain process to do. And in terms of the database, we define visually the tables and the attributes that we need. And what happens under the hood is that whenever we publish an application, OutSystems is the one responsible to convert such a declarative way of developing into lines of code, allowing this way to scale into complete enterprise level applications. So it is like having a Lego set with all the pieces, right? And every time you want to build something new, you just need to pick the correct Lego pieces to make it and assemble them together. So you don't need to worry about building those pieces because those blocks already exist. So what does low code have to do with vibe coding? Let me tell you that OutSystems went even a bit further into this traditional vibe code concept that we talked about, and they delivered a set of tools that help us developers and help the business delivering in a more fast way the applications, the enterprise scalable applications using AI. They developed the platform tool or feature called the App Generation or App Gen, where you can also go there, you can prompt, say what you want the platform to build. You can give a document, for example, with requirements, and the platform, along with a set of AI agents working together, they deliver a ready to use application. And even inside that part, then you can go to each application, you can give feedback, you can request changes that the platform will adapt to what you require, and then you can build that application. But the way OutSystems created this concept, it's very different from the typical vibe coding. And it will allow, without any question, it will allow us to scale more easily into enterprise scalable products that the current vibe coding doesn't allow to do that. And let me tell you why. First, the fact that the app generator, he is not generating code. So what the app generator does is that he generates the same declarative language that we developers use in OutSystems Studio. So when we are drag and dropping the features that we need, when we are specifying that we want in a screen a certain input or we want a certain table with certain attributes, we are declaring in the platform what we want, and this is saved in an XML file. In this case, the app generator, he does not generate code. He generates also this declarative language. So this means that the moment this is generated, we can see it and we can understand it in the same way as if any other developer would create an application in Studio and we were able to check the code or to check the elements of the application. The second reason is related with code quality. In the typical vibe coding tools that we have nowadays, due to the fact that the AIs are generating code, line of code by line of code, it means that hallucinations can affect their outcome, meaning that we can have errors or we can have unexpected behaviors in that code generation. With OutSystems, it works differently because AI does not generate codes. AI just generates the same declarative language that we use. So this means that it is up for OutSystems platform to generate the code in a deterministic way. So this means that OutSystems is using already a tool perfected for more than 20 years in the market to convert the declarative language into lines of code. So it is really difficult for us to expect errors in the generation of those applications. And this makes the code quality increasingly better than the typical vibe coding tools. So in reality, what this means is that the app generator is not building the Lego blocks that we talked about, and basically that's what the vibe coding, the traditional vibe code tools are doing. But in this case, the AI tool from OutSystems is generating the set of instructions of how to assemble a certain Lego set. That's why it is so bulletproof, because in reality, he is not transforming the blocks, he is not changing the blocks. Those blocks already exist and they work well, and he simply says how to assemble these blocks. And this is the reason why low-code tools like OutSystems will outperform way better than the typical vibe coding tools that we have in the market. And that is the reason why these AI tools will be able in the future, nowadays already, but even more in the future, to build enterprise scalable solutions. So if you want to get more deep dive into vibe coding, if you want to become a more vibe coder, I don't know if this exists, but now exists. If you want to become a more vibe coder, bet your career in low-code tools like OutSystems. Follow me for more videos related with AI. Have a great day.